Grand Rising and welcome to New Mind, where our intention is clear and is to share information for transformation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to show up, to join me on this conversation. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to New Mind. My name is Sam Daghash. I'm your host. And in this journey, we're all about transformation. We're all about actionable insights. And more importantly, diving deep into what can elevate you in your journey. Throughout my experience working with top performers, top traders, as well as leaders from all around the world, I've had the privilege to really dive deep into the work that I do with regards to being a master practitioner and a master coach, and really elevating both myself and my clients' journey, because again, my clients and students are the best teachers. And one important topic is what we're going to be diving into today, which is literally, if you stay till the end, is going to change the quality of your life without a doubt. So I really want you to stay with me till the end of this podcast, because I'm going to be giving you a key that if you understand how to manage, if you understand how to manage this specific key in your life, it will elevate the quality of your life instantly. Okay? And so let's get into it straight away. So when we talk about quality of life, we need to understand that there's something always on that is determining the quality of your life. It's always transforming the quality of your life. And that specific thing is what we call your state of being, right? So when I define a state of being, it's important for you to remember your state of being is how you think and how you feel at any given moment in your day, in your week, in your month, whatever that is. But it's that instant state of being. Now, what's also important to remember is that your state of being has multiple ranges, meaning it has multiple signatures. Each state defines how you are thinking and feeling and the range of behavior that you have. Now, this is really important because your state, 95% of the time, it's an unconscious process. It's a process that is a program sitting at the back end of your mind, your makeup, who you are, the identity. But what's more important to understand is that your state of being also emits energy. It's like your internal climate that shapes your external weather. And when you understand how powerful that is, you want to dive deep into understanding that the state is something that we can learn how to master. We can learn how to switch and shift our state of being into a preferred state, a resourceful state. So let me give you an example here for those who are not familiar with what I'm talking about. A state, for example, is a fearful state. When a person is thinking fearful thoughts, their body and their energy also emits a specific frequency and an energy that comes with that. So we are always feeling our thinking. So the state of being is now determining the quality of your thinking and determining how you are feeling. But more important, it starts to determine and influence your behaviors, right? So a fearful state is going to make decisions in life that is based on fear. That is a fear mindset, right? So understanding that determines what you are about to get into. So it's almost a predictable outcome because it's coming from this specific state of being, which is, for example, a fearful state. A person that is living in fear, living in survival, fight or flight. They narrow their focus. Their nervous system is in a negative nervous system. They don't see opportunities, and they make decision based out of fear. That's just one example. Think of another example of a person that is in a angry state, an angry person, right? Could be you. Sometimes we all get those reactions, those experiences where we get angry. But the idea is that when we are angry, we have a range of behavior. We're going to behave a certain way. We're either going to say something, we're going to hurt someone by our language. Sometimes we can be physical. We might throw something or hit something in the wall, depending on your identity. But anger produces specific behaviors, right? But at the end of the day, anger is a state of being. It's a program. It's a way of thinking and feeling, right? So it's important to remember the idea here is that each state is unique in its vibration, okay? And it's important that what we do and the work itself is aligning with truth and positivity states of being, because that will elevate the vibration, will elevate our energy. And this is important because I want to, get into the topic of energy in the world of energetics, but think about it, right? Logically speaking, as per all advanced modern science today in the quantum physics science, all of it, we know everything is energy. We know we feel energy. We know we emit energy. We know that our energy makes people around us feel a certain way just by the presence of who we are. So your state of being, the energy that you are emitting also makes and has an impact on your external world, without a doubt. No one can argue this point, right? Think about it. No one can argue that when your energy is down, you impact people around you. When your energy is up, you impact people around you. That's why they say the most important thing when it comes to your environment is the people you hang out with. Are the people that you're hanging out with in your day-to-day, in your life, are they operating in a negative state or in a positive state? A positive state is one of positivity, of confidence, of happiness, of joy, of optimism, of love, of gratitude, of appreciation. These are all positive states. You get some positive people in your life, they will always have an influence on your state of being. We'll get into those actionable insights shortly, but I'm just trying to give you guys examples of how it can impact your entire life and reality and the people around you. Just your state of being, right? Forget about what that does in other aspects. But what we need to go into now, and this is where I want to take this conversation, just a layer deeper, I want to take this conversation a layer deeper when we're not just talking about move into a positive state, a negative state. We understand that. I mean, most people understand that we are unconscious beings and we have multiple states of being and we react to things outside of us which produce specific states, right? The reaction is normal. We're all human. We'll react. The problem is, how long do we stay there is based on your conditioning. It's based on how much you get impacted by your external reality and how much and how fast you can get back into a peak performance state or a neutral state or a resourceful state. Sometimes an experience could happen to an individual that will throw them out of balance for a week, some people a month. And the same experience, whatever that experience is from their external reality, someone said something, did something, whatever, you will find that person recalibrate within the day, within the hour. So the idea here is to master your state, meaning you have to be greater than your environment, as Dr. Joe Dispenza would say. You have to be greater than your environment because you're no longer allowing your environment to dictate your state, but what you're doing is you're conscious about what's happening and you have the ability to regulate your nervous system and come back into the neutral state, the state that is dictating that behavior that you want, not the behavior that you don't want. Now, from that understanding and understanding how our external reality works, we need to take that layer a bit deeper. And what I mean by that is we need to start to see the connection between this universe of ours, the inverse, you in inverse, which is your inner reality, which is this gateway to who you are. You are inverse. It's a mirror reflecting your inner state. So I always tell my clients that the biggest evidence in your life to see where you're at is your outside experience, is your reality, right? So your reality outside of you is a mirror for your inner world. And this is not woo-woo. This is actually how the field of energy is responding to us, right? To the wholeness inside of us, to what we hold inside, So that's why I call the inner work a very important part of our journey, because we all need to understand that there is a part of us that is so important, that is inside of us, that inner dialogue, that inner perceptions, that how we see ourselves in this world, how we see others. It shapes our outer reflection, right? And when we understand that on a deeper level, we start to go, okay, so what patterns in my life do I have today that is not serving me? And those patterns are usually coming from a negative state of being, from a negative behavior that is internalized. It's something that within us needs to be freed before we can break that pattern, okay? And this is super important because that's how you are engaging with the universe, right? That's what you're engaging with that mirror. So your state is actively all the time interacts with this universal field of energy, right? And the feelings that we're talking about and the beliefs you hold internally shapes what the universe is always going to mirror back to you, right? And I love this quote by Carl Jung that said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life or direct your life, and you will call it fate, right? A lot of the times we just think what's happening to us is fate. Yes, there is some truth to that, but to be very honest and truthful, all of it is on you. Everything is actually on you. Everything you do, think, act, and feel is the universe, this mirror of life is going to reflect back to you. Even if it's something that's not really good for you, it's there to teach you something of growth. It's there to make you a better version of yourself. It's there to wake you up. And unfortunately, and I really say this with absolute heartful truth, is most of the people that I come across in my journey, that I work with professionally, unfortunately, they wait till the pain, till a big incident or something happens that they can't no longer bear. So they have to wait for a place to reach to before they realize, okay, I can't do this on my own. I need to do deep inner work to change this pattern. And my message to you is you don't have to. If you know something is out of balance in your life already today, if you know something isn't serving you today, then don't wait. Don't wait for it to get worse. Rather do something about it now. Rather change that internal state of being. Rather change and recondition that mind of yours. Because if you don't, those negative patterns persist. It becomes evident that it's there. And that's always your cue. And remember what I'm saying. It's always your cue to do the inner work and to do that reprogramming. Because honestly speaking, guys, the will alone, willpower is not enough. You know, I want to change. That's not enough. Everyone wants it to change. But why people don't change? It's because the conscious mind always wants that. But the unconscious mind, if it's in charge, which it is, it's always going to bring you back to your default setting. So subconscious work is essential because, again, willpower alone can't shift these deep set of patterns. And that's the calling, right? That's the calling of measuring yourself and understanding and taking and zooming out. Where am I in my life in the same patterns, getting the same results and same behaviors? That's the states of being you're stuck in. Those are the programs that need to change. So if I had to bring this up to you guys and give you guys some actionable insights for this podcast today, is that the first step for that, honestly speaking, is awareness. So regularly checking in with your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, what is the majority state of being I am in throughout my day? Most of my day, what state of being am I in? Where's my thoughts? What am I thinking and feeling? And the problem is, remember, 60 to 70,000 thoughts that you think today is as of yesterday. So it's going to be a constant same pattern unless you break it, right? So how are you feeling when you get up in the morning? How are you feeling after meeting people? How are you feeling? So feeling is a good way to indicate, right? Because that's the language of the body, right? So awareness would be step one, guys. Really pausing, checking in on yourself and not just being on autopilot all the time. Stop now and take that moment and really question it. Question yourself. What is my default state? When last did you ask that? Make this now. As I'm speaking to you, or or you're listening to this or watching this, what is your default state? Are you on a positive, resourceful state most of the time? Or are you up and down, changing left and right, always up and down? What is actually defining that state? What is that default state of yours? Very important. The idea is to always be resourceful. The idea is always to be in a peak performance state, or the majority at least. You know, yes, we're going to be impacted and react, but we're not staying there. That is the master alchemist that you have within you. That's the ability to realize and be aware that when you are in a negative state, that's not your default state, and you want to go back to what your default state is. Super important, guys. Super important. This is one of the things that when it changes everyone, and it changes the quality of life. And that's the thing I work on a lot with my VIP clients. Is I'm always working on, first of all, understanding what their default settings are, what they've been conditioned to be on, which programs. Then I change the programs. I literally just change the programs that elevates their way of thinking and feeling, and then the behavior follows. And then they get the results they want. Because remember, all your results in your life today, whether it's relationships, whether it's money, whether it's freedom, whether it's health, are all subjective to your behavior. But take that a step deeper. Where does the behavior come from? It comes from your state of being. When you're in a positive state, when you're in a confident state, you take the lead of your life. Is it not? Think about that. Second thing I can give you guys is an actionable insight that I think would be amazing for you guys to get more clear on where you actually are in terms of your state, is to start journaling. Journaling tends to identify these reoccurring patterns. Get a book and write. I prefer writing. It's the best usually. Just to get understanding of what's your thought patterns. What are you actually thinking and believing about your reality? What do you believe about the relationships in your life? What do you believe about yourself? What's your self-image? What's the patterns that keep reoccurring in your reality? That really comes through journaling, because journaling is like you're speaking to yourself. Today I had this, that, I'm feeling this, I had that experience, just reflection. Very, very important, right? And everyone has a different type of journaling style. That's fine. Look it up, see what yours would be. But it's more about just what's in the mind, putting it up on a paper so you have more clarity, and it just flows. You'll be very surprised. It just flows. And I would say a really important thing, which should come as no surprise, is your third point or third step of really helping you manage your environment, manage your state, is your environment. So creating an environment that supports your desired state is absolutely key. And that, again, guys, as I mentioned earlier, it's the surrounding influence you have in your life, the relationships you have. These are super important. How they make you feel, how they speak to you, how they treat you, your friends, your family, your partner. They say that you want to look at where you're going, look at the 5 people that you hang out most of the time with. Who are the 5 people you hang out most with? Maybe it's not 5, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, but whoever those people are, they are unconsciously influencing you, and they're influencing your state of being. They're influencing you. So understanding that is super important. Now, there are, of course, practices, right, that shift your state of being. And you can incorporate these practices in your daily life. Like, for example, I love breath work. I'm actually a breathwork facilitator for Soma, but I actually did that entire course, which I can lead on a group, but I did that for me. I do sometimes for my private sessions, some groups, but generally I literally did that for me. I went and I wanted to not just, I wanted to go deep into that world of breathwork, because breathwork is the fastest way to shift your state of being, the fastest way to regulate your nervous system. And I'm a big fan of all breathwork. Any form of breathwork is great. Of course, the more you get into it, then you understand there are different types of breathwork that produce different states of being. So I would encourage you to get into breathwork practices. And if you're watching this and listening to this now, if you are lost, DM me. I'll give you a gift even about a specific breathwork that I've created for my clients. I'm happy to share that with you. But I'm only going to give it to those who are seeking it, those who are open to practicing. And that'll be a gift. Literally, just DM me or comment on this video or send me a message, and I'll give you a very powerful breath practice that you can do on a day-to-day basis that will elevate your energy and elevate your state. So that's one of the practices. Of course, meditations is super important, right? A lot of people would say, deep affirmations. Yeah, I think affirmations are great. I'm not against affirmations. I had some people say you're against I'm not against affirmations. I'm against empty affirmations. I'm against affirmations that you can't connect with and feel in your body, because you could say something over and over again until you blue in the face, but if you're not connecting with it emotionally speaking, it's really just, it takes a longer of a time, right? So that's why inner work is important. So, but yeah, affirmations, writing down what you want to think, what you want to feel, what you believe, what you want to believe about yourself. Very, very good practice. And that can be part of, your journaling exercises as well. So these are some tips, some actionable insights that you can do. But again, guys, these are simply, in my opinion, short fixes, right? They're great to sustain and maintain those positive states. But you have to ask yourself, they should not be a crutch. They should not be the thing that you need to keep shifting out of this negative state. If you have to put that effort in, oh, I need to do breath work because I'm not feeling great. I need to do breath work because I'm not feeling great. But then why are you not feeling great in the first place? That needs to be addressed. That needs to be addressed, because quick fixes are just quick fixes. Whether it's something that you take, like people go and drinking to numb, or do substances to numb those feelings. Some people do breath work and ice bath also to numb those feelings. And I'm not against it. I prefer you do ice baths and breath because it's obviously way better for you and it helps your energy, and it's the most amazing things to do. And I'm a big advocate for that. I do that myself in my personal life. But what I'm saying is that should not be your medicine just to change your negative state. You need to get deeper into the conversation with yourself. You need to analyze yourself a bit better to understand, why do I need to keep doing that to change how I feel? But the issue is the root cause of how you're feeling. You want to be feeling good without having to go and do the ice bath and the breath. But when you do the ice bath and the breath, for example, you feel even more amazing. And that's the goal. That's the goal, is to use these tools as further elevation, further elevating yourself and expanding yourself. That is the goal. Not just to feel good temporarily, wake up the next day, oh, I feel great again, I need to go and do my breath practice or do the ice bath that I do once a week or whatever, right? Those need to be bonuses. Those need to be things that improve your state further, not shift your state and then default goes back to the negative state, right? So guys, I'll close with this, and this is really important. If you master your state of being, you will genuinely, truthfully master your life. And the universe will reflect the inner changes you make. This is super important. Remember that. So for now, I want to say thank you so much for joining this podcast today. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. I've just started this YouTube channel. It's new. The audio channel's been around. We're on 70 plus episodes. And I just want to start growing the YouTube channel. So please, if you're listening to this and this is something that has resonated with you, has impacted you, I would really, really appreciate that you share this, that you like this, that you go into the YouTube channel and just click subscribe, because this is how you support the channel and this is how you support me in continuing to share value with you guys. And that's the intention, is always to share value that will help you transform who you are to an even greater version. Thank you so much. Much love and positive energy.